Okay, here is our lovely artwork that we're about to do. Let's take you through all the resources you're going to need. Okay, so this is what we're going to need today. We're going to need a black texter, a grey texter if you have one, but don't worry if you don't. A grey lead pencil, which you all should have, a pair of scissors, a ruler, an eraser, and a tissue that would help you towards the end. We don't have to have a tissue, but it has a little technique I want to show you. Then from our art pack, we need these three things: a piece of white plain paper and the two smaller bits of card, one red, one white, that are the same size, and they're what we would say is a quarter of a page. So they're the three pieces of paper you need from your art pack. The other thing you can look at is the slide that has the tree drawing ideas for you, so you can have a look at that as well. Okay, so to start our artwork today, with our little Red Riding Hood peeking through the window to see what's happening at Granny's house, we're going to look at the border. Well, what I loved about the story of Little Red is how Bethany Wolven used the strong colour of red for Little Red, but for the rest of the artwork, she kept it in greys, whites, and blacks, looking at tone, which makes the red stand out quite beautifully. So to start off, we're going to do our window. So that means you're going to need your ruler and a grey lead first. Okay, so first of all, we're going to rule. I'm using my ruler, I'm using the width of this ruler because it's not too wide. Depending on the width of your ruler, I'm going to lightly draw on my lines around three sides. Now it doesn't matter too much if I go all the way to the edge on each line. I'm holding it still with my fingers so it doesn't move. Okay, so now I've got my three lines. Then I'm going to bring my texter and go over those with black texter, but I'm only going to go to this join here and this join here. So I hold that steady again. Now I want these lines a little bit thicker, so I'm going to do another one exactly next to it, which makes it that bit thicker. Again here at the bottom, on the line to the dot, and then below that a little bit more to create this thicker line. Now on this side, on top of the line, and then slightly next to it to create this nice thick window pane. You can just fix up any corners there. One thing you can do is add a diagonal line here with the black and here, so it makes it look more like a window pane, gives it that more of a 3D effect. Okay, then all we need to do there is colour in the edges, and that's just with grey lead. What I'm doing is I'm loosely shading with the side of, oh, I'll move that so you can see it, moving that so it's shading slightly on top, covering, but not getting it too dark, trying to keep an even colouring level, so not too dark, not too light. Always good to have a piece of paper underneath, so if you go off the edge it won't matter. Now I'm just going to make that strip a little bit more even, checking that it's even all over, and then for that I'm going to get my tissue, and I've got it folded over in a number of times, and all I'm doing is just rubbing over the top, and it takes away some of those lines those heavier lines and makes it look a lot less like pencil. So it gives it that nice, a bit more of a nicer look. And then sometimes you can just come along if you've gone over the edge a little bit with the grey lead and fix that up. Okay, so we'll do that for the 3 sides of the window pane. Okay, so I'm just rubbing the outside of my last bit of window pane with my tissue. It just lightens it up and gives it a very nice look. Okay, so now for, oh, whoops, luckily that was grey lead. Now for my, we're going to do the background trees. Okay, what I really like about these trees is that you've got trees here coming off the page. Okay, so you know that they're taller. Okay, we've got some texture with lines, we've got some grey ones, we've got a grey plant there if you're interested in colouring one or so, a couple of things in with a grey lead, or you can just use black texture. We've got great ideas here on your on the sheet of different types of trees that are very typical in the story. Okay, so I'm going to draw some big, some small, some smaller up front, bigger at the back, and the bottom of the trees at the back, so it looks like it's growing up off the page. Okay, so I'll center that there. And now for some trees. And another one here. I just kept looking at it and finding the holes and wondering where this might like to go. I'm going to put some grass here under the tree. Okay, so now I've got my area filled. I sort of have left this clear because I know that this is going to be taken up by Little Red's head when she's poking through. One thing I'm going to do is just with my grey lead, I'm going to lightly colour in this tree. I just feel like it's a bit too much white. We want to get that tone, that change, the value going from white, the grey and the black. So a little bit more grey bringing in here by colouring in the tree. With that, with the grey lead, shading on the side of my, with the side of my pencil carefully. Can do the trunk as well, and then to make that just a little bit more interesting, I'm going to go over it again with my tissue. Okay, and if I've come outside the lines, I can just erase that because it's only colouring in with grey lead. Okay, so there we go. We've got a great background now. We've got a great window. Time for Little Red. Okay, so let's pop those ones aside, and we need to get our 2 smaller bits of paper. For the beginning, we'll put the white one away and we'll start with the red. Okay, so with the red, we need to do a big rainbow line from one corner to the other, and we nearly need to get to the top here. So just lightly, do it light until you're right. Get this nice curve shape. And I'm getting happier with that line now, so I'm doing it a bit darker. Do you know what I could do now? I could do it in black. Now that I'm happy with the shape, and that might just make for an interesting line on Little Red's head after I cut that out. Okay, I just erase those bits that are on the head. Now for her face. What I found was easier if we put our card this way, and that means we've got the top up here near where it hits the rainbow line. I know that this area will fill inside really nicely if I fill that with another rainbow line. And this time I've got to do it really light because it's white. Okay. And now I'm happy that I've got a good rainbow shape, rainbow line shape. Now for her hair, she wears some really cool, I'm going to go over that so you can see it better. Okay, now I'm going to do her hair, her fringe. I'm going to use my ruler here so I can get a nice flat fringe off from here. So I can start my line at the top and bring it down to that ruler. And just bring those lines straight down to the ruler. Now she's going to need a bit more hair than that, so I'm going to go in between those lines. And yes, those aren't the straightest of lines, but my hair is never straight and going in the way it's meant to, so I'm sure Little Red's hair is the same. Now we've got a really good straight fringe across there. Before we cut it out, let's draw our eyes. So I'm going to do a rainbow line here and an upside down rainbow line there, rainbow line here, upside down rainbow line there. Now because we know she's looking, we're going to put her eyeball on the side and colour that in with your black texture. Really carefully. Okay, time to do some cutting out. Okay, now I don't know if I said we need glue. I think I forgot to say we need some glue. Okay, well hopefully you've got a glue stick around. We can glue Little Red's face down. Now remember, it goes right on the edge here, on the bottom edge, but enough room around the side to make it look like she's wearing her hood. Now I can clear some space, clean up my mess, get my background, and now I can stick my Little Red's head poking through the window with a bit of glue on the back and putting it on that window line there very carefully. Okay, there we go. We have Little Red poking her head through, looking through the window, seeing if she can see Grandma, or maybe she's seeing the wolf. Well, I hope you enjoy that beautiful artwork and that lovely story. I'll see you again next week.